the most animated person, something about my weight and the doctor telling me to put it in front of me so I can watch it. But as we move forward, the state of the animation industry. And as I said earlier, what we're going to do is start by looking at what a mature animation industry looks like, and then focusing on how Jamaica measures up. And some of the core components of that is a labor pool with some amount of mastery, the emergence of businesses offering animated services as well as animated content. There's strong training and research. There is some amount of an empowered audience, whether or not that's local or global. And there's associated services that come alongside the animation industry and animation companies, right? So we're going to take a look at each of these and focus on where Jamaica is at this point with regards to these components. You'll hear that the animation industry in Jamaica is still pretty nascent, but what does that mean? How does that translate to everything else, right? So when we're talking about labor with mastery, what are the kinds of mastery that we're looking at? And I'm sure my friend in the training will be very conscious of these. So we're looking at, one, training people to observe things. Because animation is the imitation of life, the first thing you need to know how to do is to actually see and be able to break down the components of that life, right? Then we're looking at drawing. You may have heard over the years that in order to animate, you don't need to draw. We are quickly learning that that is not true at the highest levels. In order to get to the highest levels of this industry, you must be able to draw. You must have a labor pool with good drawing skills. Anatomy. People need to know how the body works, what makes up the body, how they fit together, and so that they can, in knowing the rules, you can break them and break them within a creative style, right? Same thing applies to motion analysis, kinesthetics and kinesiology, and motion capture and representation. All of this is a technical side that the labor pool needs to know in order to produce an animated piece that looks like it should be on screen. One of the things that we find is we have a lot of people who are trained in animation right now, but when they produce their animated pieces, the motion just doesn't feel right. It feels like you're in an animated film. And because of that, the audience isn't enraptured by what they're seeing, and it lowers the commercial appeal. If we're looking for a labor pool with mastery, these are the things that we need to focus on. The question is, where and how does Jamaica fit along with these? And what we find is you have 4 schools offering degrees in animation right now. There are 4 schools that are looking into this kind of training and ensuring that our labor pool gets them. Unfortunately, we don't have any schools with one cohort of graduates out as yet. The first school with a cohort of graduates that will come out will be UWI, followed by UTech. Right? UWI has a 3-year program, then UTech has a 4-year program. Edda Manley is also working on a 4-year program to be put out, and Hart and CT Vet is also looking at a degree, both at the associate and the bachelor levels. Right? And as you'd have heard Robert talk about, there are multiple training programs that are looking at intensely going into or focusing on one area of these particular things and doing intense training around it. So for instance, you have the training of trainers, or you have the SEED program, and you have other programs that are going on, right? And these are the things that they're looking at establishing or putting in place within our labor pool. Can we measure this and say where we stand right now? Again, this is where the idea of nascence comes in. Because we haven't been able to produce an animated piece, or a feature-length animated piece, or a series of shorts, what we find is even though this knowledge is here, we haven't yet garnered the level of mastery to make it globally, commercially viable. Right? But we're on that path, and that's why we have these training institutions and these programs in place to push us towards that path. Okay? So with regard to a labor pool with mastery, we're not there yet, but we're coming. Right? We're coming to come. If you look at the emergencies of business in Jamaica, you'd have heard about a couple studios and so on that have been coming up and have been doing some amount of contracts. But what are the kinds of businesses that we want? What do we want to be looking at? And again, if we want to be looking at businesses that are focused on 2 things in particular. You're either offering original content, meaning you're going to be focused on creating new content, telling stories, whether or not they are Jamaican, Caribbean, or otherwise, but that's what you're focused on. You're a storytelling company. Or you're a services company, in which case you're looking at being either VFX, special effects, etc. Where's Jamaica on that, right? How does this line up with us? And interestingly enough, our businesses, we have businesses doing these things, or have had businesses doing these things. Next slide over. So with original content, we've been looking at, I'll sign on it. I don't know if you guys know Cabby Chronicles, but we have created some amount of original content. What we need to be doing is supporting these original content makers, supporting the script writers, and continuing to build out original content. Our freelancers have been putting out little shorts, little one-off shorts. That's what you'll see at places like Kingston or other animation festivals. These are the 5-minute shorts or 3-minute shorts. So we are creating some amount of original content. Highlighting these contents and showing them off to the world, bringing them up to speed is what we now need to be focusing on. With regards to animation services, you have Rerock GSW, Skyrace Studios, Liquid Light Digital, who is more into VFX. I think they're the only production house that offers the level of VFX that we'd be talking about. And then within advertising agencies, you have some amount of 2D. We've all seen some of the more animated ads that are coming out now, right? So we've seen the Broadcast Commission adopting animation. We've seen a number of companies more adopting animation, and this is making use of the animation services side of things. So with regards to this component, we're actually further along than anywhere else. However, we still have a lot of work to do, meaning we still need to ensure that these businesses remain viable and remain feasible and continue to continue, right? Jumping right along into training and research. Training and research, we already spoke about a lot of what's happening.